All right, well, thanks for joining me today, and I want to talk about Solomon's wisdom and look at why is he considered to be so wise. Now, look, I get it. You know, in the text, he asks God for wisdom, and it says that God gave him wisdom. So there you go, case closed, right? But then we get this story where two women come before him and to determine who the mother of a baby is. And this plan of his of cutting the baby in half really could have gone quite badly. And not in the sense that the baby would have been in two pieces, but that the wrong mother could have easily just have said, "Thanks, I'll take the baby," and walked away. Because the first woman said, "Don't kill the baby." So the baby would have ended up with the wrong mother. So was Solomon really that wise, or did he just get lucky? Well, I was searching around on this and I found a paper written by Baruch Cohen in 1998 called The Brilliant Wisdom of King Solomon. And he posits a theory that really kind of turns this whole story on its head as to what Solomon was doing. He's basically asserting that Solomon was really a revealer of secrets, and there was some information that's not held in the Bible story that is held in Jewish tradition that is relevant to understanding this story correctly. Now, quite honestly, I don't know whether to believe this theory is true. It's pretty outrageous in some ways, but it is interesting. And so, without further ado, let's take a look at it. I'll start by just recapping the story. So here we go. Two women come before Solomon. And the first woman says, "The second woman's baby died in the night. She tried to steal mine, but it's my baby." And of course, the second woman says, no, it was the first woman's baby who died in the night. Mine is the living baby. Now, these two women lived together, so an exchange or stealing of a baby is very easy to do, right? You know, if somebody's a heavy sleeper, just steal their baby. So Solomon's tasked with what to do. How do I determine who the real mother is? And he comes up with the ingenious solution of saying, well, let's cut the baby in half. Give me a sword. Well, obviously this is a ploy to make the two women reveal their true selves. And the first woman says, "Don't kill the baby. Let the baby live. Give the baby to the other woman." And the second woman says, "Cut him." And this really doesn't make any sense, right? Cut him? What did she say? That why she should have said, "Thanks, I'll take the baby and be on my way." She was just arguing that the baby was hers. Why does she say, "Cut him"? This plan doesn't make sense. So why does she do this? And this is towards Baruch Cohen's idea that Solomon is a revealer of secrets. And this ties in with other Bible quotes in the New Testament in particular. Jesus says, "Nothing is secret that will not be revealed." Now, Baruch Cohen does not claim credit for this theory himself. He says it comes from two 13th century Jewish commentators whose names I cannot pronounce. But they assert that understanding the laws of YIBBUM is necessary. Well, what are the laws of YIBBUM? Well, basically it says if a husband dies childless, his wife is obligated to marry the deceased husband's brother. So you got to marry your brother-in-law. If the brother-in-law wants to, he can release the widow from this obligation, but he has to be at least 13 years old to do it. And if the woman is pregnant when the husband dies, he's not considered childless if the child lives 30 days. All right, so with that in hand, we get to the next part of this theory. All right, the theory is you have a couple, mom and dad. They have a son, and the son gets married. And so the two women in this story are mother and daughter-in-law. Okay, so they're related to each other. So when these two have a baby, and then the dads die, well, now we have the laws of YIBBUM that are in play. And so the idea here is we start looking for motive. Well, which mother here has the motive to want both babies dead, right? So take a quick look. The first mom, if her baby dies, then her husband actually has a child because the grandson is still alive. And therefore the mother is quite happy because she is not subject to the YIBBUM laws. She has no one she has to remarry because the husband has a grandchild. If we go the other way though and look at the daughter-in-law, and if her baby dies, then this husband has no heir. He has no child. But making matters worse, that she has no child, is that she actually has to marry the brother-in-law, who is the first woman's child. So she's not happy about this. But what makes it even worse is that it's a baby. So she has to wait 13 years before she can either marry him or before he can even release her from this YIBBUM law. So she's hopping mad, and she sees an opportunity to say, you know what, get rid of this guy, cut him. If he's dead, I am free from these YIBBUM laws. This theory then says that, well, Solomon knew the relationship between these two women, and therefore he knew she would say, cut him. It's getting her to show her true self, her true hypocrisy around the idea of even wanting this child in the first place. She wants to be free. And so that's the essential theory here. And as I said, it's outrageous in many ways. There's a lot of mental gymnastics that have to take place. And why did the commentators not write this until the 13th century? You know, I get it. There are some problems with it. But I also like it. And I like it because it's about revealing of secrets. And Jesus tells us many a time that whatever is hidden is going to be revealed. And he operates in this same way himself in the New Testament. When his accusers say, hey, you shouldn't be doing work on the Sabbath by taking grain in the field, what does he do? He says, well, is it lawful to save or is it lawful to kill? He's trying to make them expose their own hypocrisy, because if they push him on this issue, he can push back and say, well, why are you saving your farm animals when they get stuck in a pit or whatever? You save things, you do work. He wants to their hypocrisy to be exposed by themselves. Like, raise my hand, say, yes, I'm evil. Same thing occurs in the Gospel of John. A woman's caught in adultery, and they say, hey, we should stone her. And Jesus says, well, whoever's without sin, you can cast the first stone. Again, he's trying to get them to own up to their own hypocrisy, the same thing that Solomon was doing. He's like saying, your secrets are going to be revealed, and you're going to do it yourself. That's what Matthew means by saying, by your words you'll be justified, and by your words you'll be condemned. It's sorting out the hypocrisy of our lives. It's a warning that we get that nothing is covered that will not be revealed. The woman, her hypocrisy of wanting this baby dead is being revealed. This also ties in very nicely with 18th century philosopher, theologian, and scientist Emanuel Swedenborg. He talks in his book, Heaven and Hell, about what happens in the other life. And he asserts that we're actually the same person in the next life that we are here, and that if we were behaving foolishly and insanely in this world, we're going to do the same thing there. Our outer layers get stripped off, and our utter insanity is revealed. And it's revealed for everyone to see. We lose it. We're no longer allowed to be a hypocrite. And I like that. I like that there's this tie-in with all these different things in the Bible and what Swedenborg says, and that it really makes Solomon wise because he's showing the true motive of this woman. Cut the baby. Why do you want to cut the baby? Because she wants to be free from this law of remarriage. So Solomon is wise not because he got the woman to say, oh no, give the baby to the other woman. You know, the first woman says, give him up, let him live. He's wise because he's revealing the secrets and the true nature of the second woman. So there you have it. That's the theory before you. I acknowledge this is kind of crazy, but let me know what you think. Post your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear some feedback on this. If nothing else, I hope you enjoyed it and had a little bit of a mental puzzle for the day. So anyway, in the meantime, all the best to you, and God bless you on your journey.